I have decided that in 2026, I would really like to do monthly wrap-ups of all the projects I finished or worked on in the month. I don't know if this will continue the whole year. I'm hoping it can. Additionally, I was going to post a 2026 plans, the projects I wanted to work on video. However, after filming it, I just felt like it wasn't the right kind of video that I wanted to do. I made a list that was more of a suggestion, but I was talking about everything in the list as if it was going to happen. And so I've scrapped that video. I have that list. I like that list. I am referencing that list. However, I also know that I sometimes just like to do what I want to do, and that I don't want to be so married to a list because I put it out there online. Let's get talking about all of the things that I finished or worked on in January of 2026, and at the very end I might hint at some projects that I'd like to do in February. Both of my cats are right here, by the way. They're just like off screen slightly. I've got one curled up in a blanket and one curled up on a heating pad. I always run super hot, and so right now we're having like crazy cold weather for Florida. Like one day it hit 27 degrees, last night it hit 31 degrees. I think next week there's a day where I'm supposed to get like 14 degrees for just like a little bit. I am insane. I love the cold. So I have like my windows open, my heat turned off, let the cold air in. Last night I had the windows open and I was sleeping with a fan. So my poor cats, I try to keep them as comfortable as possible, but sometimes I just have to enjoy the cold. But they are both here if you see them kind of pop in, or they might try to crawl on my lap. I'm gonna start with, this was in my video where I talk about the projects that I finished in 2025. However, I did technically finish this on, it was either January 1st or January 2nd. So I just want to throw it in this video. It won't be in like my yearly wrap up, but it'll be here. This is what I am calling my Jester Granny Square vest. This project is completely self-made. I didn't follow a pattern or anything like that, and it is crochet except for the ribbing on the sleeves and a little bit of the ribbing. Never mind, I thought I did ribbing on the bottom and the top in knit, but it is also the ribbing at the bottom and top is, oh no, the green layer here is knit, but everything else is crochet on here. I'm really enjoying combining crochet and knitting. I've done it a few times, however, all of those projects I ended up frogging, so this is the first time I have done it and finished it, and I really love this vest. It is super oversized. It is super crazy. There's so many colors, so much going on. I love it. I have been working for a long time on getting my skills better at making garments, and I can see it coming together in this vest, specifically in the fact that I added in stitches to the back so the neckline fits me much more comfortably. So originally my plan for this garment was to have it be a sweater, and I was going to do the body in granny squares and the sleeves in granny squares. But then I just lost motivation on that. And so I decided I was going to knit just white sleeves. However, because of how big these armholes are, I wasn't liking how that was looking. I did almost all of one sleeve and I just felt bleh about it. So then I went back and I just knit some basic ribbing and added in, you know, the collar and the base, and I love it. It's really cute over a black long sleeve or a black tee, and I have this chartreuse dress that's like a spaghetti strap dress that I paired it with recently. Then after I worked on that, I decided to make 2 short scarves. And so I have this one, which I did first, and this is crochet, all completely crochet. and I followed a pattern on Ravelry. I followed the evergreen mini crochet scarf. Now, technically with this scarf, you are supposed to knit an I-cord edge after you finish. I've never done that before, and I got really frustrated trying to figure out what the pattern was explaining because it was just in words. They didn't have a video or anything like that. So I ended up just single crocheting all the way around the edge, and I think it's great. I think it is. My cats oftentimes attack this scarf. However, I love it. I enjoyed making this so much that I took the skills from it and made a second one. However, I didn't do exactly the same thing because in this one, you're supposed to crochet into the back loop on every row, I think it is. The pattern is free, by the way, if you want to go get it. And on this one, I just decided to crochet into the whole stitch. I also did not do an edge on this one because I thought it was actually pretty clean. And I decided not to weave in my ends and to actually add in a little bit extra for like little tassels. This yarn is the Ethereal Eyelash yarn. I don't remember the color name, but I think it's gorgeous. And this one was just scrap yarn I had lying around. However, I think it's the Ice Cream yarn by Lion Brand in the color Coffee. I'm not 100% on that, but that is my gut feeling as to what this is. I have not quite a bit. I have a little bit more of this scrap left over, and I have about half of this left over. So I'm not sure what I'm going to use for the rest of this scarf. However, I haven't gotten to wear the cream one yet. I have gotten to wear this one out, and it's very comfortable. I believe this yarn is either 100% acrylic or mostly acrylic, and so it doesn't bother my skin or irritate me. I haven't blocked this yet though, so I will be curious if these fuzzies either start to disappear or if it gets like fuzzier. But I got a lot of compliments on this the day I wore it. I think that's everything I finished this month. I didn't finish a lot, to be honest. Now, to be fair, up until pretty much recently, I've only been crocheting, and crochet is much faster than knitting. And additionally, I had quite a few days in January where I wasn't able to work on crafts because of illness or other reasons. So I didn't get as much done as I would normally do. However, I am trying to learn to be okay with that. Now, I have quite a few whips. However, if I didn't touch it in January, I'm not going to show it here because otherwise we'd be talking about whips all day long. So the main project that I have been working on this month is my Un Sweater Light. So I did buy the light version of this sweater. However, I am using, I think it's a DK weight yarn, and so I should have just bought the regular one, but I am making adjustments for it. It's fine. I'm insane. So this is where I am at with this sweater. I have one arm done. I have knit up to where I need to separate for the ribbing because it's a separated ribbing. And then I have these stitches on my needle for the other sleeve, and that is what I am actively working on. That's what my yarn is attached to. I have one more ball of this after. This is like a pretty brand new ball. This is the Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek Low Pill Fiber in Green Apple. I try not to support Hobby Lobby. However, this is left over from, I bought the yarn to make this project a long time ago, and it's just been sitting in my house. So I had about a ball and a half left over of the chartreuse, which recently I have been in love with this color. So I did decide to buy enough of this that I could make a sweater out of it. And thankfully, even though it's been years, the color match is perfect. I have just enough now. I think it's going to end up being 5.5 balls total by the time I finish. I'm really not sure what size I am making because unfortunately, because my gauge was up, I was doing down a size. So I was doing, I think, a medium. However, I am also doing the length as long as the biggest size. I don't remember if it's an extra large or an extra extra large or 3XL. I don't remember. I wanted this to be pretty big and oversized, and it is. Well, that's great. You can already see this collar is huge on me because I didn't adjust it super well. However, I tried it on recently, and there will be a video talking about this project, a whole vlog about it when I finish. I think it'll be perfect for like wearing a like collared shirt with it. I also additionally didn't do the ribbing on the sleeve as long as they suggested, so my sleeves might look different from other people's, and I changed the decrease amount because I like bigger sleeves. There's been quite a few adjustments made to this project. The only other thing there's two things I think I would change if I did this project again, which I really hope I do. I think this would be beautiful in like a tan. So I, in the future, would not do a folded collar because that's what it called for. Because the way I folded my collar, so your ribbing in your collar, oh, sorry, that's hard to see with the light, and these like raglan stitches match up, which mine do, but because I folded it the way I folded it, there's like a distinct purl row blocking all of it. And then additionally, you are supposed to stop those raglan rows at the sleeve. I wish I would have continued them into a V underneath the sleeve and then like gone down the side with the same motif, because they kind of just stop, and that's what the pattern calls for, but I am not a huge fan of them just stopping. And I saw someone else do the pattern and they just did them straight down. They didn't like continue into a V or anything, and then they got it to line up with their bottom ribbing, and so I feel like that would be so stinking cute. I feel like I have at most 4 to 5 days of like active work on this project. However, I just haven't been able to work on it much recently because of things. So it's probably like 2 days to finish the sleeve, and then I'm thinking 2 to 3 days to do the ribbing. I haven't done ribbing like this before, so I really don't have a good estimate, but I do have the hardest part for me finished, which is this body. It is so hard for me to knit like the body after the yoke. I talk about it more in this video though, so you'll see that when I post it. I'm loving it. I can't wait to have a sweater in this color. I cannot tell if I look good in this color or not. However, I have learned over the past year that I don't care what good means, because if I feel confident and if I feel good in something, I'm gonna look good no matter what, whether or not it makes my like skin tones, whatever. So this is gonna be a win. I have been wanting a chartreuse sweater for a long time, just like a simple one, and I have been staring at that pattern for a long time, and so glad I'm working on it. Now, one of my goals for 2026 has been to become more of a monogamous project doer. I think in my mind having a pretty active crochet and a pretty active knitting project makes sense. However, I am trying to like reduce down all of the other projects that I have. However, that is not who I am. So there's always a part of me that constantly wants to start something else. Whenever something gets to the point where I don't want to be working on it anymore, I'm just like, I want to start something else. And usually what ends up happening is I start another sweater, and then I get to that same point in it, and then I abandon that for another sweater. So this month, instead of doing that, I did allow myself to start a new project, but I said it had to be something small. I decided to start knitting a scarf. Editing Amanda here because I want to jump in with an update on Kelsey. Move. Okay, you can't see me at all. I wanted to jump in with an update on this project. So the day I filmed the initial video was like January, I want to say 30th, and that night I ended up finishing this project, and that was a Friday night, and I had plans on that Saturday, and the plans were going, it was like freezing out that Saturday. So I decided, since I finished this, I was just going to block it that night and wear it the next day. And I blocked it and I put it up here to finish drying, and I thought my cats could not reach up there. I've never seen them go up there. So one, I didn't think they would think to, and then two, I didn't really think they could. Like, yes, theoretically cats can jump amazing heights, but like, why would they? Anyways, the baby, not the one who just got in my face, I'll try to show him in a second, got a hold of it, and I didn't notice for like 5 to 10 minutes, and he chewed a giant section out of one of the ends. So this is the side that has like no chewing, and this is the side that has chewing. And there's enough of a difference that I can tell. I actually had to that morning not cry. I really wanted to, and I had to fix it with some crochet. There's still like little spots where little like yarn is hanging out, but I don't know how to fix that. And I didn't know how to fix like what he had done because it was like along the side of the knit, not across it. So I've done the best I can to fix it. I literally like went to my plans, which were with some family, and I showed it to my mom and sister-in-law, and they both said that like they didn't notice it before I pointed it out to them, and that even once I pointed it out to them, it really wasn't that noticeable. And I get exactly what they're saying, because like when I put it on and I wear it, this is not exactly how I'd wear it, but just for reference, it's not crazy noticeable. I can tell, of course, and I was really upset for a while. But I had to like remind myself, like, this is just a thing. And like, he was just being a kitten. He's not even a year old. His birthday's in April and it's January. So what, 10 months old? And, he didn't know better. I know better now in the future. But as this was my first cable knit and my first, I-cord edge, and like I love this color and I had plans to wear it that day, I was so incredibly upset. It works, it works, it works, it works, and I have worn it and it's really beautiful and no one else in the world will be able to tell. Now the baby is next to me fighting my other cat, so let me grab him. Hey, come here, you gotta be in the video, baby. Oh, why are you wet? So this is the baby. This is Sparrow, in case you're new to my channel, haven't met him yet. He is adorable. Oh, and there's Kelsier, in case you want to know the other guy's name. So this yarn, first off, is gorgeous. I love it. It is the Hobby Winter Glow Solid in Petrol Blue, I think. And then I don't remember the name of the mohair that I'm holding with it, and I cannot get it off the post. Give me a second. This is about half of it left. It's a very fuzzy mohair. I got it from free from Hobby. If you use their point store, you can get, there's like a couple of yarns you can only buy through points. And so this one I got from that. This is the, I don't think I've said it yet, the honey scarf pattern. I think it's so pretty. I bought this pattern and I bought another one from the creator at the same time, which I'd really like to be able to do the other one very soon. So this is Woolbird Knits or Brianna Mason. And the other pattern I bought was the Fleur scarf, F-L-E-U-R scarf. So I'm probably going to make that in February, just as reference, or it might be a little bit later and I'll get into that in just a second. However, I love this creator. I have bought at least one other pattern from her, the Breve pullover, which I would like to make this year if I can. And there's a couple others that I have my eye on. The Ivy pullover is going to be hopefully something I make in the spring. Back to this really quickly. Besides this color being gorgeous, I love the pattern. This pattern is so easy to follow. I was nervous when I got it because there's very limited words. It's only a chart pattern. Now, this creator is so helpful. She has videos talking about every single concept that's in the chart and just really walks you through how to make this. And so while I still feel like I am a beginner knitter, this was not difficult to do at all. Now, I have never done an I-cord edge, which this has, like you do it while you're working, and I found it to be so easy. Definitely would do it again. Additionally, I have never done cables before, and as you can see, this project has cables, and as you can see, mine aren't half bad because the creator, she was so clear in how to do the cables that I wasn't scared. Now, I was scared on my very first one, but as soon as I finished doing it, I went, oh, that wasn't that bad. Also, I do not own a cable needle. I thought I had some from like crochet kits that I've bought in the past because they always throw random crap in there, but I couldn't find it. So what I have been using is a 4.0 millimeter crochet hook. This is my Susan Bates ergonomic hook. I don't think I've ever actually used this one on a project. I just have in every size that I could find these crochet hooks. I love, these are my favorites, the Susan Bates. I have furls, which I use a lot, and I do love those as well. But like my go-to, if you're on a budget, these. So all I end up doing basically is I use it like a cable needle. I slide on the stitches, and then I slide my other stitches onto my other needle, and then I slide the first stitches back onto the left. And it works great because this ergonomic side blocks the stitches from falling off that way, and the hook blocks the stitches from falling off the other way. I have always been kind of anti-cables. I think they're pretty. I think they're fun at this point. However, I just wasn't drawn to doing them myself. And so in the video that I'm not posting, my project lineup for 2026, there were 0 cable projects listed on there. And then here I am making a cable project and actually having a good time with it. So I would definitely do a cable project again in the future. I'm no longer afraid of them, or at least not as much as I was. I'm a little bit nervous about getting into a project where there's like multiple cables going different directions. However, I'll just face that when I get to it. And for now, I like it. My final project that I worked on this month is my kind of active crochet project. I have been talking about this project for a long time now, and I just undid a stitch, but that's okay. This is my Galaxy 6-day star blanket. Oh, I'll show you the not loose end side. 6-day star blanket. This pattern is from Betty McKnits. I have made quite a few of these at this point. I've made at least 7 of these. This might be my 8th one. I'm not totally sure. I don't have them anymore. A lot of them I've given away as gifts, or I have sold at least one online. So I wanted to make one for myself. What I really enjoy about this project is you can use a lot of scraps and you can use a lot of different colors, or you can just use one color. It's up to the creator. I mean, you can do that with any project really, but this one, it really lends itself to doing that. And so I had dreamed of making one where it was all galaxy colors. So maroon, purple, navy for the most part. You can see I do have a gray and a white, but the white is a heathered, I can't think of the word. Shin, how do you say this? Chenille? Is it shin? Oh, I know how to say it in my head and my mouth is not working. So you know what I'm talking about. And it's heathered, so it has like black spots on it. So I felt like that was a little bit kind of like a star motif. I have been buying yarn for this project for over a year. Like some of this yarn is from Joann's. So it's been for a long time. And then when I went to make it, some of the yarn I took out and decided I wasn't going to use. I ended up grabbing some yarn that I hadn't originally bought for this project and using it. This row right here wasn't for this project, but it's honestly some of my favorite rows. If you're like following the pattern, this is day 2 of working on it. And I just think it's so beautiful. I really, really like it. Almost all of the yarn is like super duper soft. This black row here is not. And so I did end up switching out my black for future rows. It's going to be a different yarn that is soft. And I don't think that'll be a huge issue. When I wash it and stuff, it'll soften up a little bit. I'd like to make this huge. So the biggest one I've ever made, I think it was 70 inches by 70 inches. And I'd like to hit at least that size with this one. And I have plenty of yarn. I should show you. So I have this, which is attached right now. And then, oh, there's a cat now. Kelsey, can you move, baby? Thank you. He hears Amazon outside. And then I have a big tub that has all of the rest of the yarn that I'm using on this project. And I just carry that around. Now, I haven't used this one yet. This is the Karen Latte Cake. So I don't know if I will, because every other yarn has been used at least once, if not twice. And I don't know if I've used this one. I'll have to look. However, I think as I go, maybe adding in some other yarns will be fine. We're just gonna kind of have to see. Sorry, that is like glowing. Additionally, I am using my favorite size hook on this. The pattern calls for, I think, like a 4.5 or a 5. However, it clearly states you can use whatever hook you want. That's what I love about crochet, is I have mastered crochet in a way that I haven't yet with knitting. So I'm using my 7mm furls hook. It doesn't, my favorite isn't that it's furls, it's that it's a 7mm. I just love the 7mm. Susan Bates doesn't have a 7mm though, so I had to buy this in the furls, and then I loved this so much that I do have a whole set now of them. Let's talk about some of the things that I'm kind of planning for February. So I already mentioned the fleur scarf, and when I mentioned that I said maybe, so let me clarify that now. My sister-in-law's birthday is in March, and I would like to make her something. I'm thinking a shawl, I'm thinking knit. However, today actually I bought her 2 items that I found on Depop that are like vintage items that I know she would love. So now I'm kind of like, is 3 items too many for one person? Like, I've never bought anyone else in my family 3 items for their birthday. I would like to make her a shawl at some point. It might wait until Mother's Day or Christmas, but I ordered the yarn before I found the Depop items. So the yarn is coming. I have a pattern picked out for it as well. I can't show you the yarn because I ordered it yesterday. However, the pattern is the Calamero shawl by Maria Jesus Campos. I love that pattern. I think it's so pretty. My vision for her shawl, because she loves peacocks, is that the white base that she has, I found this gorgeous white heathered yarn. It's really white with kind of cream and black heather prints, but it's in a fingering weight, so it's not like so speckled. It's gorgeous. And I was thinking I didn't want it to be a pure cream because my sister-in-law has 2 young children, and so stains and messes happen. And so I thought if this got stained or messed up, if it's already heathered, it might not show as much. And then the stripes down the back, you're supposed to get 4 different colors. However, I was thinking it would look really pretty with just 1. So I bought 2 different kind of like peacocky colors. One was leaning green and one was leaning blue. And once they arrive, my plan is just to choose one of them and just do that stripe and like this gorgeous pop of color on the back. So that's kind of my plan for that. Again, don't fully know if it's going to happen or if it's going to happen in this month. I was really hoping to make at least 1 sweater every single month this year, whether it's crochet, knit, and when I say sweater, I mean pullover or cardigan, but I wanted kind of 1 big wearable each month. Now, obviously in January, I didn't technically accomplish that because I'm not counting my vest. I would normally count a vest, but I'm not counting that because I finished it on like the first day of the month. So it would have been my une pullover. However, that's not finished. So obviously my goal is to finish the whips that I'm currently working on. And then I would like to go back to my sweater number 18 and finish this up. I started this, I want to say back in either August or September. I know it was before October. And as you can see, I made it to the point that I've spoken about in projects where I just give up. It's right after the yoke. But I would really like to at least make some progress on this, if not finish it completely. I am using 2 yarns from Hobby. The first one is Friends Wool. I don't really care for this, but this is my first time using it, and this is in color 89. The reason I don't like it, 1, it is a little bit rough. Not rough enough for me to complain about. However, as I'm using it, every single ball that I have experienced so far has had an area where the yarn wasn't twisted. It's just like a big piece of fiber for like about 1 inch to 3 inches. So not a fan of that. And then you mix that with the fact that it's not like the softest. I don't think I would buy this again. It was a great, inexpensive option. I think for other people it's perfectly fine, just not for me. And then I am using the Hobby Diablo yarn, which is a 40% acrylic, 30% mohair, 30% polyamide. This is a discontinued color, but it is number 28. I think it's called like Stormy Sea or Deep Ocean, something like that. I love this color. This is actually what inspired this project, is I saw this online. I saw it was going to be discontinued, and so I wanted to order it before it went away. I love the Diablo. I have a lot of Diablo. Like, this thing is full of Diablo. I actually have more than just that. Some of it lives in other places, like if I know I'm saving it for a project. But I like mohair. I like Diablo. I have some silk mohair from Knitting for Olive, and I think I might have some from Drops somewhere. But nothing can beat this price. It's just great. And it's so soft. So soft. And because it's not wool, I don't have an irritation to it. I have found mohair and alpaca and silk do not bother me, which is fantastic. But wool really bothers me. So that's kind of my big project that I would like to work on. And then after I do that, my dream, excuse me, cat is in the way. He's touching you, but he doesn't even know it. Oh, he wants my yarn. You want my yarn? You want your yarn? Boop. My dream project, which I've been wanting to start since December, has been the crane dance cardigan. Now I have bought 3 different yarns for this project. I bought it was Knitting for Olive pea shoot and I think it was Haze. Did not like that combination. The pea shoot ended up being too pea shooty and not enough chartreusey, if that makes sense. I am going to use that yarn though. I have a project in mind. I'm mixing it with a mohair. It's going to be gorgeous. I'm not going to get to it next month though, so I'm not going to talk about it here. And that first one was in pure silk, which I also wasn't expecting the pure silk to be that texture. It is very interesting to work with because I did some swatches with it and I'm not in love with it. However, I think I can adjust. Then I bought their merino in the color, I think it's dark ochre, which is like a yellow, and midnight. So midnight was going to be the main color. And I ended up kind of hating the midnight. It's like not really blue, not really gray. I was expecting it to be more colorful. And my cat is digging into my yarn bucket. I have it open next to me. My vision for this particular cardigan is it could become my everyday cardigan. So I just wasn't feeling that. So then I ended up buying some... This is cotton, because I was also thinking if it's an everyday cardigan and I live in Florida, I probably need it to not be merino, which is why originally I tried to do the silk. Are you having fun? He's making biscuits in my yarn. So I bought this from Quince & Co. And this is the Willet yarn. It is a sport DK weight yarn. The tan brown taupe color. There you go. Is in the color Manta, like Manta Ray. Really like it. So this is going to be my base. And then my color work color is this. And I think this is Land. It's like greeny, tealy, but leaning a little bit more green. I am really excited about this. I haven't used it yet. However, normally I hate cotton. This is 100% Texas organic cotton. I've worked with cotton in the past. I hate it. One of my goals for 2026 is to find a cotton that I like. And I think this might be a contender. I don't remember how much this cost. I have quite a bit of it. It all needs to be wound up, obviously. But I think these colors are gorgeous. I think I'll be happy in them. That's kind of my next big project. There's some other things I'd really like to do. However, I don't see myself being able to knit 2 sweaters or finish 2 sweaters, knit a third, finish my scarf, make possibly another shawl, scarf shawl, and then being able to knit much else. Plus, there's going to be crochet happening in the month as well. I know I'm going to try to work on, if not finish, my blanket. And then after that, I don't really have a crochet plan in mind. But other than that, I don't really know what is going to be happening with my crochet. I feel like with knitting and crochet, I have 2 very different perspectives. Like knitting, I follow patterns, I follow plans, I plan things out, I know the yarn, I know my needles, I know the pattern, I've bought the pattern, it's good to go. And then with crochet, I am very like off the cuff, like just what I'm feeling, whatever I want to do, whatever sparks joy in that moment. But that's it. That's kind of my January wrap up, I guess we can call it. And you got to see one cat, but the other one is still asleep. Please let me know down below what projects you are currently working on, what projects you plan on working on next. If you have kind of a wrap up video yourself, I don't know if YouTube lets you share links, but I'd love for you to share it and so I could watch what you guys are working on. And I hope that I'll have another one of these next month. But until then, I am working on posting some other videos. So my rainbows are out. I hope you're having a great day. Bye.